Hello and welcome to the Claret and Blue podcast. It's Monday morning, 10:30 after Aston Villa have won a game and Erdington's finest in the comments straight away. Everyone in a better mood this Monday morning. I know I am. I am as well. Are you, John? In a good mood?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Oh, it's good, isn't it? Winning games.
Yeah, I feel good today, but then tomorrow I'm going to be badly missing domestic football. So, it's good though. 2-0, successive 2-0 wins actually at home.
Yeah.
In literally the space of 4 days, John McGinn scoring twice, 2 clean sheets, barely a chance for either team, really. So, yeah, I really don't think we could have had a better week. Tielemans back, of course, too.
I'm sorry, I thought you were going to carry on. And our rivals dropping points as well. Like, was that the perfect weekend of football? Arsenal didn't win a trophy. Tottenham got battered. Who's lost? Oh, there's some good stuff going on.
There was another one in there, I think, that went away. Limbs for Sunderland as well, I must add that in. I think if I could handpick those results, that's probably what I would do. So, yeah. Anyway, we're not obsessed with anything else, are we?
No, it's just not nice to talk about some other different bits and pieces. Right, so let me explain the kind of format of today's show. We tend to do a Q&A every Monday, and a lot of those are pre-recorded and come from the mailbag. However, today's one, we thought we'd flip the format a little bit and bin the mailbag. We will come back to them, don't worry. I've taken one comment from the mailbag. The rest of it is purely going to come from today's live chat.
We are doing another video on that.
Say again, sorry?
We are going to do another video on the mailbag. We'll
do a mailbag episode later in the week. I think we're going into the office this week, so we're gonna do stuff in person later in the week, I think. So stay tuned for that. Villa don't play again now till, is it April the 11th? Have I got that right?
9th, I think.
9th. It's a long time away, basically. 9th. So there's lots of things that we can get our teeth stuck into. So I wanted this to feel a bit more kind of raw reaction after West Ham. So this is kind of post-match reaction part 2 is how I've got it in my head rather than a Q&A specifically. However, if you want to get your questions in the live chat, I will answer plenty of them. Sam says, I saw John at New Street on Thursday, but he wasn't nearby on the train to say hello. Maybe next time.
Yeah. Come over, say hello. That's absolutely fine with me. I met a lot of different people yesterday, so forgive me for getting names, but lovely to see so many fans of the Claret and Blue podcast around Villa Park.
James says, I took my 4-year-old to his first game yesterday. He sat in the Trinity. Everyone very friendly with him, and he was so happy McGinn celebrating in front of us. He keeps doing the glasses celebration. I love that. My son's 3 and has got no interest in football at the moment. I can't imagine him sitting through a game even at 4. So, I can imagine how that would have gone, James.
And I also give a quick shout out to Rob and his family who come over from America. I met Rob in the States during the Villa's pre-season tour there, and he's a lovely chap and has got a really nice family as well. So yeah, shout out to Rob who has come over again to watch the Villa. He likes to come most seasons, I believe, and yeah, really nice to catch up with him.
We actually had 2 comments on the post-match show last night of people who were watching the podcast or listening to the podcast on a plane. Can you believe that? Somebody was like, I'm flying over Australia and was listening on plane Wi-Fi, and the buffering took an hour and a half episode instead of like 30 minutes. Somebody replied in the week saying, I also listened on a plane. What's the chances of that there's people listening to Claret and Blue, 30,000 miles in the air, is it, John?
Yeah, half of it was Hippodrome chatting hippopotamuses and all sorts. So yeah,
it's a good episode last night. I thought if anyone hasn't caught up with it, a proper classic Claret and Blue. It felt like. Right, okay. The first comment we're going to use from the mailbag to start this discussion is based off the title. How many points Aston Villa need to qualify for the Champions League? Now, if you're one of those, take it one game at a time, lads, you might want to kind of fast forward the next 10 minutes, make a cup of tea or something and come back if you're watching live, because we're not going to focus on the next game. We're going to look ahead to the remaining 7. So the question from Luke. I know you've not been doing how many points do we need, but I think this weekend has made it a bit easier to work out a points total that will secure top 5. If Villa reach 65 points, which is 11 more from here, it means Liverpool would need to win 5 and draw 1 of their last 7, and Chelsea would need to win 6. Liverpool and Chelsea play each other, by the way. 11 points from 7 games for Villa feels achievable if we match the performance of West Ham. The start of that match and the intensity was something we've not seen for ages. And I completely agree. I said 3 wins and a draw, so I think 10 even might do it. 11, though. 11 from the 5 coming up, never mind the final 2, I think is achievable. But if you do need to get something for those final 2, okay, so be it. But if Villa were to get 11, Chelsea winning 6 out of 7 when they've got difficult fixtures seems very likely. Liverpool winning 5 out of 7 to me feels unlikely. And there might still be people out there that think Villa winning 3 or 4 feels unlikely, and that's fair enough if that's how you feel. I think that last point is absolutely bang on. Play like we did against West Ham, we'll win 3 or 4 games quite comfortably, I think.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have nothing to worry about if we play like we did against West Ham. I always sort of guard against that, though, because I look at our fixtures and, on paper, they look more manageable, should we say, than Chelsea's and Liverpool's. But I do think at the same time...
Wolves say hi, so Brentford and so do Leeds, etc., etc.
Yeah, we've had one good week in about... since the turn of the year. And there's reasons to suggest why this will now continue, because, as we said before, and I think we're being proven right to a point, at least so far, that we will go on barren runs of form and then pick it back up. It's what has always happened over a 3-year sample, which is a huge amount of time. We were also missing 3 of our best players, and keep saying that is the most obvious reason why we had a downturn in form, and 2 of them have come back, one of which has been, again, the catalyst for our recovery, and John McGinn scoring twice in the space of 4 days, both opening goals, both the reason why we've been then able to push on and take 2 really big wins for us before the break. And Yuri Tielemans is back, and he's just a fantastic midfielder, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. He's just class, and having those 2 players back for the rest of the season, and touchwood that is the case, and touchwood the international break won't be a horror for us in terms of players getting injured. We'll go out to Spain, we have a friendly over there, so some of the players can stay in condition, because it is quite a long way until
we've got a friendly in Spain.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, we'll go. Well, I think a Spanish paper's also reported. I was told earlier this week, or
fair enough.
Last week, hearing since Monday,
like a behind closed doors.
They were going to go over there. Yeah, just to get away. I think it's something that Villa have done in the last few years, just to keep ourselves ticking over before the final stretch, because the games will come thick and fast then, and what you don't want to do is go into that Bologna game or the Forest game and suddenly pick up a muscle injury because you've been out in the cold, really. So yeah, that's important to do. But kind of back on track with the totals, I would just say Liverpool and Chelsea, let's give them 5 wins out of 7, because getting 6, I think, I can't see that happening. But 5 would be maybe the sort of maximum of their abilities, considering where they are as clubs, by the way. They've been a bit of a shambles. And in the last 7 matches for Chelsea, they've won twice. This is league. And in the last 7 matches for Liverpool, they've won 3 times. So to say that they're now going to win 5 out of 7 is probably pushing it. But equally, to say 6 would be, I think, well above. I don't think they'll be doing that. I really don't. No. And even if they do, Villa has still got a chance of getting in the top 5 anyway, because that's, by the way, both of them doing that. One of them surely won't win more than 5.
They play each other anyway.
Yeah. And if that's the case, we don't need to win 4 games. We can win 3 and draw 1. So that's where that's what my target is, essentially. Win 3, draw 1 of our remaining 7, which is absolutely doable. And I think we'll be fine. That would take us to, obviously that's 10 points, so that would take us to 64 points. Liverpool to catch us then would need 5 out of 7 wins, and Chelsea, by the way,
last year.
Yeah, and Chelsea, by the way, would need more than 5 wins out of 7 to do that. So they would need 5 wins and a draw, for example. So yeah, Chelsea would hit 63 points if they win 5 of 7. Villa would hit 64 points if they win 3 and draw 1.
That's doable, isn't it? Come on.
Yeah. So that's the way I look at it. I think we've got a massive chance now to do it. And again, that's based on, I think, Chelsea putting up some really good form. 5 wins out of 7 is brilliant. And still that wouldn't be enough if Villa just win 3 and draw 1. It's just, and you look at our fixtures and say, well, you can do that. We do that one and do that one. It might not work out like that, though. Sunderland at home will be a hard game. Fulham away, hard game. Spurs, I don't know what to think of that match, to be honest. I almost want to avoid talking about it because you don't know what's going to happen there. Although they've been so bad, at some point they are going to have to win games.
Coming out to Villa Park and picking up 3 points.
Well, yeah, let's see how they go in the next few weeks. Forest away goes without saying will be tough. So yeah, I don't. The only reason I kind of look at the different fixtures is in the way of we have more manageable ones is simply because the quality of teams is poorer than Chelsea and Liverpool, the clubs that they'll be playing. But at the same time, they will be playing for something. I think that's what's good about this league this season. It's very competitive, and teams are playing for things.
I think for the crowd that come back, those that are saying, just focus on the next game. I think if you do beat Forest, that goes a long way to, I know that sounds stupidly obvious, but do you know what I mean? Yeah. To get through the next one that feels like maybe one of the most difficult in that run of 5, Forest away. Yeah. And they've just battered Spurs at Spurs. And how much do you read into that? I'm not entirely sure. But Forest is tricky and they are scrapping, I think. West Ham, we spoke before about, they've improved a bit. And I was saying, they've still got 29 points. They're not very good. And they didn't lay a glove on us. So I think sometimes it is easy to overhype the clubs at the bottom. It's like, they're scrapping for everything. Yeah, but sometimes they're just not very good. Like, they're scrapping. Yeah. You can still out quality them. So let's not write Forest off as, they'll be up for it and bang up for it. If we play well, we can still beat them. So park that for now. The teams that are potentially kind of season over territory, like Sunderland, for example, won't have anything to play for when we play them.
I don't know. I mean, they might be going for Europe.
Do you think?
Well, yeah, because they're in the race, aren't they? Yeah.
Possible. Is there any benefit to, I think somebody asked earlier on, did I star it or not? Gaz, is it sometimes better to play middling teams playing for nothing at this time of the season? As I'm sure, as opposed to playing teams that are scrapping for something.
Yeah,
possibly. Yeah, but do they play without freedom and all that kind of stuff? And they can be on the beach, so to speak, and just turn up and play well without pressure. And you can flip the narrative however you want, can't you, really?
But I think you've made the best point that we could make there, really, Dan. Of if we just play our game and we play to get back in the Champions League and operate like we did against West Ham, that's all we need to worry about. Whether Forest are going to be scrapping,
we might win all 7 if we do
that. Yeah, I don't know if we played that well, but we were good. Yeah, I think that's the point. It's not necessarily looking at what other teams will be doing and just focus on ourselves, because few teams will be able to stop us when we're in full flow, and that's the point. And I think going to a place like Forest, a point for them at home to Villa probably wouldn't be a bad result. But equally, they are going to try and win that. They're not just going to be sitting back completely for the full 90 minutes. Like, I'm sure they will open up at some points and smell something, and their crowd will be willing them on to go forward. And so I like that our fixtures in the remaining 7, or should we say the next 5? Actually, let's say that there's opportunity for us there to win 3, draw 1.
And there's opportunity for us to get it done before we even play Liverpool and Man City.
Yeah, and that
potentially Europa League final.
And that was something that was looking a little bit more unlikely, should we say, in recent weeks. And the next 5, I think that's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at Liverpool and City. That's our insurance policy, and it's a difficult one, but it's there if we need it, should we say?
Yeah,
that's where you get your points.
If you put up an okay run of form, and I mean, we drew to Liverpool, didn't we, in the penultimate home game of the year that we did qualify for the Champions League. And if you do go into that game and it's as simple as avoid defeat against Liverpool and you've qualified before you even play Man City, I mean, would anyone take that situation right now? Probably not, because I feel like it can be wrapped up before then anyway. But even if it does come down to that, the final home game, okay, fine. Like, you've still got another... what's the word? Like another safety net or whatever. But I think it can be done before then anyway. Win 3 or 4 and 5 before it, and I think we're done.
Yeah, you win your home games is another kind of way of looking at it, and pick something on the road. But it's just an interesting one, because Chelsea and Liverpool are obviously big clubs. When they play the better teams, I always think that they probably raise the game. So it's an interesting one. I don't want to talk about it too much more after this now. But just to reiterate, Chelsea, they play City and United at home after the break. Then they go to Brighton, which is difficult. Forest, Liverpool, Spurs, Sunderland. And they've got to win, again, for me, 5 out of 7 at least. I think it's a really tall order. And should they not win either City or United, or maybe just win one and lose the other, well, if we can beat either Sunderland or Forest, again, that gap's going to stay going into the final 4 or 5 games of the season. So, it's all in our... it's in our hands, and it has been, and we've been saying that for a while. But the shift in momentum is such an important thing in football. We spoke previously about how we still have a 4-point gap. We still have a buffer, and we're not playing well, but we still have it. We're just going to have to turn this form around, and suddenly the world will look like a better place. And and from a Villa perspective, it does.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to some of the questions from the live chat then. Just quickly from Angie, how many points do you think then? So what do you expect us to get?
Expect us to get? Okay, so I would say with 7 games remaining. This is kind of done on the spot. This is something that you'd probably edit out, Dan. But go on, let's do it together. Let's have a bit of fun.
Okay, so, go on then. We're going to go game by game here.
Right then. Well, I tend to do it in groups to kind of level it out a bit. So between Forest and Sunderland, 4?
4 points, yeah.
4? I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Fulham and Spurs, 4? Would you say that? 3.
What's the game after that? Burnley. 4, 4, 8. I'd go 4 again. Beat Burnley. That's 11.
Okay, well, I'm going to be a bit more sort of. What I would say is, okay, I want to do this way. Draw against Forest, beat Sunderland.
Yeah.
Just for sort of balance, lose at Fulham, but then beat Burnley and Spurs. So to me, that's 3 wins and a draw right there. And
Yeah,
that's okay. I think that's what we need, and that's okay. And by the way, that's before playing your last 2 games.
Yeah.
So I think that would be enough. And therefore,
everyone will just say, "Well, we'll lose the last 2," and that may well be the case. And if there is a Europa League final to rest players for, fine. If we have to lose Liverpool to rotate our team, fine. Yeah. If we've already got top 5 wrapped up,
I'd give us 64, 65 points. And again, I think that's being the sort of that's me being. Looking at it from a perspective of probably I say the least, because you never know what Sunderland are going to do at Villa Park. That'll be a difficult game, but is there some sort of balance? I think that's about right.
Yeah.
If I said, "Oh, we're going to win the next 3," and well, I think that's probably looking at the best possible scenario. So, yeah, I give us that, and I think because of that, we'll be okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Chris says, let's call it as it is. If we can't get 10 points from Burnley, Sunderland, Spurs, Forest, and Fulham, we don't deserve Champions League. And I agree. This is what I said on the post-match yesterday. It's now on us to go and show that we.
And it might be less than that. Yeah. I look at those Chelsea games. And keep saying
I think it's one of those things where I think if we've won 3 going into the last couple of weeks, and then we lose them at the time, we won't be saying, "Oh, it's done. Don't worry about it," because mathematically we could still be caught. But I think maybe come the end of the season, if we do win 4, I think we could go. Actually, we had a 4-point gap, so we could have got away with just winning 3, for the points total.
Possibly.
So, I think we're going to be fine.
I hope so. Yeah.
Said this in January, didn't I?
Yeah. Just quickly, we kind of look at Chelsea because they've got a tough run and they're a bit of a shambles. But Liverpool as well, their next 3 games, I think, are massive. I think they've got to win all 3. And that's real pressure because after they play Fulham at home, Everton away, Palace at home, then they've got United, Chelsea, Villa, and then Brentford at home on the final day, by the way. I don't think that will be easy. Especially if Brentford are going for something.
Yeah.
So their next 3 are massive because if let's say they win 1 and draw the other, win 1, draw 1 and lose the other, of their next 3, they're then essentially going to have to win all of the remaining games pretty much to get to 64, 65 plus. And again, we would only need to win 3, draw 1 and hit the same number really.
I look at both Liverpool and Chelsea and think they're not going to do their bit. Are you worried that we won't do our bit? That we might win 2, draw 3, and it'd be a bit.
I think I'm always going to be. I mean, put it this way: I think I need to see something a bit more results-wise in our next 2 against Forest and Sunderland, because if we draw both of those games, we know that we need to win some matches coming up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And in theory, drawing at Forest away isn't a bad result, really, in the context of what they're trying to do and stay up. Sunderland at home, there's a chance you don't win that game. Yeah, I think you have to try and look at it sort of with the level head. I don't think we'll win both, but should we not win either, then there will be a bit of pressure. Then we go to Fulham. That's a tough game, and we're probably going to have to win to kind of keep
record at Fulham, though.
No, we do, but I have a bit of a theory that those runs come to an end at some point, and I hope it's not this season or ever. But yeah, I just concentrate on ourselves. Yeah, absolutely, but with the knowledge that we do our bit, we will be fine. We don't have to be looking behind our shoulders and worrying like we were a few weeks ago. But equally, that will change should we not get the results we want straight after the break. So now that we have a break and play, which I think before we needed, I'm not sure if we did now, but it gives us a chance to sort of regroup afterwards and get Tielemans back into form. How will we go again after that? I'm hoping it's not going to take us a couple of games to get back in the rhythm. I don't think it will, but that could happen. And that would then allow Liverpool to, if they were to beat Fulham, close the gap to us. What will Chelsea do against City and United? I think they'll get a result in one of those games, but they would need to get a result in both should we do our job. So, all the pressure's on them.
Okay, let's move away from Chelsea and Liverpool and focus back on Villa and Forest specifically from RA Venture 26. Does the Forest fixture come between both of us playing in the Europa League quarters? Will this have an effect? Will they, or will or will we rest to mix it up? So the first game back after the break for both clubs is Forest play Porto, we play Bologna, and then we play each other at the weekend. I think, again, this is a bit of a hypothetical, and as I always say, football coverage is all guesswork before the event. I think Forest will be more affected by playing in Europe than we will. I think we're more used to managing it than they are. They could put everything into that Porto game and then not be ready for us.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one because firstly, Forest play away like we do, and then a home second leg, which I don't know if some people might have been not expecting because they beat Midfield, which means they take their seeded spot. It's an interesting one because Forest made a lot of changes for that second leg at Midfield, and Marinakis is he wants to win and he'll do everything to try and win and push boundaries and
but they've got to stay up, haven't they? Surely that's more important.
No, and that's the thing that in my head I'm trying to juggle with. But just the fact that they made loads of changes for that Midfield game, unless Marinakis tells Vitor Pereira, no, you've got to play your best team because we're trying to win this competition.
Which could well happen.
Yeah, no, seriously. I wouldn't be surprised. So I don't know which way they're going to go with it. But the fact that they did make lots of changes for the Midfield game would tell me that, and this should be no surprise, that they are doing everything they can to try and stay up. They have to do that. I don't know how it's going to impact. Who's their game
after the second leg, do you know? Just thinking, do they look at it as first leg Porto and then Villa? We've got no chance there really. But after the second leg, we play Burnley. So that's the one we need to focus on.
You're a genius, mate.
Is it Burnley?
Yeah.
There we go. Bit of knowledge there. Complete guesswork.
Knowledge. Yeah.
So would they potentially look right? Get Porto.
Oh, by the way, they've got a tougher game that they need to beat Burnley. They've got Sunderland away, Chelsea away, Newcastle at home, United away, then Bournemouth on the final day.
Oh, I feel like, obviously Wolves are gone and Burnley are gone. West Ham, Forest and Spurs, genuinely all in trouble. And Leeds aren't out of it, by the way. They've been pulled for a few weeks.
Not yet.
But I look at all of them and go, they're all in trouble. Only one of them's going to go, but they all need to get, it's not going to be one of those seasons where someone stays up on 32 points.
I'm
whoever stays up is going to need a good amount of points to do so.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that Forest, for obvious reasons, don't get a result against Villa. They then play Burnley and Sunderland. And then they play Chelsea after that. So the point I'm trying to make is that I'm hoping that they're going to be, that Chelsea game could be one that they either confirm or all but confirm, or that they just need to win. Yeah. Anyway, back to Forest. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I'm not concerned for us, really. I do think it helps that Roma were knocked out. I really do, because we've played Bologna twice. We know how they're going to play. They're aggressive. They play man to man, which will be difficult in terms of a physical challenge. But going there and then playing Forest, nothing there is going to kind of shock or surprise us, I don't think. Whereas Roma, I think that could have been a game that we could lose in. I mean, we could lose in Bologna, right? But I had a bad feeling that the Rome game would be one that we would get unstuck by, and that if we had lost in Rome, and then you go to Forest with the knowledge that the next few days are really important to stay in the Europa League, there's quite a lot of pressure on that. And we'll see what happens in Bologna. We could lose in Bologna, we draw or win 4-0. I don't know, but I'm more confident about going there and getting a result than what would be going to Roma. And we know that we can beat Bologna at home. We've done it in each of the this season and last season. So again, if we don't get the result we want in Bologna first, again, insurance policy, you got the home match, and the Forest game sits in between. So it's going to be straight back into it. There's no sort of easing your way in. This is the running, and really important for us, because again, I view our league season as we have 5 more matches remaining. That's how I view it. And then Liverpool and City are extras that really we don't want, because hopefully there'll be a final in there, or there'll be a semi-final just played just before then as well. So 5 more league games to get your points to get in the Champions League, and obviously the Europa League take care of itself as well. But I don't think Forest will be thinking like that. I think they'll be thinking of it as this is one of our final home games in the Premier League this season. We need to get a result. That will be the difficulty, I think, for us, because time is running out. They need to get points at home, as do all of the other teams.
Yeah. Okay. Question from Frank, something completely different here. Who is Villa's player of the season so far?
I think it's May Cash.
Yeah, I think it might be as well.
I
sounds quite underwhelming, but
I thought it was excellent against West Ham.
Yeah, good.
And it was one of those games when I've had this thing when Villa win a game, you go through the team and you think, I'm gonna write something about this player, but I want to do something about Onana as well. Actually, Luca Dean probably had his best game. And all of a sudden it just becomes this was just a complete performance, well done everyone, to a man, well done. But Cash in particular, again, some of the more technical aspects of his game, and there was one pass that he didn't quite pull off at the start of the match, but then he pings the ball down the side for Sancho, which was a perfect pass. I thought his deliveries in the box from set pieces were really strong as well. Piled the pressure on Hermansen. I just thought his all-round game was really strong. I think it probably is Cash in terms of consistency. Tielemans, I love as a footballer, but having been injured for so long, I think to win Player of the Season again, maybe he has to have another excellent period from now to the end of the season. Rodgers has been fantastic in periods too. Come off the ball a little bit, but is still obviously contributed to a huge extent. Yeah, I probably would say Cash for consistency alone, really.
Yeah, I think it probably is. And I think Rodgers will be up there.
So far.
Yeah, and obviously Player of the Season will be picked at the end of the season, so what happens in the final stages does make a difference. Is there anyone who could maybe kind of steal a march on that, and if they were to have a brilliant back end, like John McGinn, for example, if he scores another 3 goals or something, we'd be like, oh yeah, it's him.
Yeah, I think McGinn's probably scored the most important goals this season, and Buendia, by the way, has as well. But I meant more in terms of the context of where we were. So at the start of the season, he scores in each of Villa's first 3 wins of the campaign. So Bologna, Feyenoord and Fulham to get us going. And then we win 11 matches in a row at home, 11 matches in the comps. And that's what I'm getting to. He's done it again. So he's come back, galvanised. That's right, don't steal my moment, but galvanised us again. And I said at the top, the catalyst for recovery for us once again this season. So he'll be in there as well, no doubt. And if he can continue to score goals and have more involvement in the last couple of months of the campaign, then yeah, he'd probably win it, to be fair. But the only reason I say Cash is just because I think consistency is a major kind of point to this, and I've rarely faulted him this season, if at all.
Yeah, and the way football goes, right, I'm sure most people would have thought in the summer, like, oh, we need to get rid of Cash. He's getting stale. Like, he's got a mistake in him. What happened at Old Trafford? Like, we need to improve that area. And there's points where you still might think like, that. But players just come out of nowhere, don't they? And have one of the best seasons of their career.
I think I said earlier this season, and it's a bit of a lame comparison, but in some ways it's similar. Matt Targett, in the way that he was really poor at some points. And then that one season, I think it was the COVID season, he was unplayable. He was brilliant. And I'm not saying that is Cash. Cash was a better footballer before than what Targett was anyway. But in that way of like a bit of a renaissance. Alan Hutton-esque as well, I guess. But yeah, we do have this with Villa, don't we? I do think we tend to probably write players off. And by the way, a lot of those players have criticism levelled at them for the right reasons. But I guess we doubt that they will come back. And Cash absolutely has.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone feel our high line is notably better with Torres, says Jamie? It was all over the shop against Leeds and Chelsea with Mings playing, but we caught West Ham offside quite a few times yesterday. To me, this leans in a little bit to what I was saying. I think we got asked what's Emery's biggest mistake, and my answer was that not committing to Torres and Maatsen. Now, Luca Dean had the freedom of Villa Park yesterday, and the first time he got through, I thought, I wish this was Maatsen playing because he's better going forward. But Dean, to his credit, played very well as well, and was really good down that left-hand side. I want to see Torres play more. We're a better side with him. And I hate that. This isn't a like anti-Mings thing, because I love Tyrone Mings and he's done brilliantly for us. And there was a period of the season, and certainly last season as well, where Tyrone Mings comes in and, we're a much better team with Mings in there. So it can change. But I think we're a better footballing team when Torres plays, and I'd like us just to stick with that.
Yeah, no, I agree. But there's obviously reasons why Emery keeps. There's obviously reasons why Emery brings in Mings for some games. And when Mings plays well, we then bring Torres back in as well. So I agree. I would have rather him stick to something. And we know that some of Villa's best games and, extended periods of wins, Torres has been in those sides. And whenever we've asked Emery about swapping the two, he kind of just says the obvious thing of Mings is a better, box defender, is more physical, and Torres is a better ball-playing player. But there has to be more to it, more detail that he's not going to go into with us. Maybe it's not easy to explain without talking Spanish. I don't know. But I agree. I would like to see something a bit more consistent there, I guess. Just quickly, Lindelof won in the squad yesterday because Emery basically said that there was just too many players in the team, which is always a good thing to have. But I thought it was a bit harsh, though, at the same time. I must say.
Questions about Lindelof.
I think, to be our best signing this summer, but also one of our best players against Lille, and then to be essentially dropped out of the squad, I think he's probably scratching his head a little bit, but hey.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions. One there from the General Draper on screen. I feel for Big Vic. I understand the matchday squad needs trimming when everyone's fit, but he's been at a colossal when playing. And AB earlier on said, great win. Do you think Emery is treating Lindelof unfairly? Seemed harsh to leave him out of the squad. It is harsh, but someone's got to be dropped out, haven't they? So,
well, 3 of them, yeah, Elliot, Garcia, and Big Vic. So, yeah.
Who's on the bench yesterday who shouldn't have been on there in place of Lindelof?
I'll tell you. I mean, I guess Mings would be the obvious one, but then dropping Mings out of the squad, it seems, why would we do that? It's difficult. I mean, we are at that point now because we have so many players back. I would just say that I think Lindelof adds a lot coming into the game, though. We have seen him come into midfield and play very well, or right back, or wherever. So, and Emery knows that and has done it. So I'm a bit surprised.
And you're not going to bring Mings on in that way, are you?
No, but equally, it's more of just I think it's just a fairness thing. The guy's been playing very well and played very well in the last game. So to take him out completely, it appears harsh. But I guess, this is football. You're going to get these sort of decisions in your career. I'm sure it's not the last time, or the first or last time it'll happen to Big Vic. But I guess the optics of it just look a bit like, oh, that's a bit strange. But then when you go into it, maybe Mings is in there for other things, leadership, match day dressing room, all those different things. So, yeah.
There's quite a few questions about Tammy Abraham, so we'll get to him shortly. In the same kind of vein as he being treated unfairly. Just a couple of different bits first from Gareth. Sancho, would you sign him? Me, definitely. Which is worded really, really weird. Would you sign Sancho? I would, definitely, says Gareth. I don't know, still. I'm still not sure. He'd have to take a huge wage cut for a start.
Yeah, which isn't promised. Dortmund are apparently interested in taking him again. My only thing with Sancho is that are we seeing better signs from Sancho because he's trying to play for a contract?
Yeah,
we've seen that so many times. Yeah. And as well, you've obviously got the Harry Wilson situation. Villa are among clubs interested in him. I mean, just sign both. Can we do that? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think we need more quality there anyway, if I'm being totally honest.
But are we going to be in the market for that?
I think we need to be. We've seen this season how we've really struggled to spread goals across the squad. Actually, we've relied on some moments from Morgan Rogers and a few other players. Buendia popping it with some important goals, which needs to continue. But I don't look at our front line and think that's a guarantee of 10 goals or thereabouts. Sancho scored once. Buendia's scored a handful of goals. McGinn scored, I think, 6 now across all competitions. I think 4 in the league. That can be better. We need more, and I just think there's more quality there that can be had. And Sancho was a squad player. Yeah, fine, but can we afford to play a squad player that amount of money on a extended deal? I'm not totally sure. The one thing he does have in his favour is age, though. He's still got years ahead of him to improve. But I also think there's aspects of his game that he can't better, i.e. his physical profile. And I don't know if Harry Wilson or Jadon Sancho, I don't know which one would win in a race, but that's not really the point. It's more of, I prefer Harry Wilson as a player, I think, and I think it probably suits better than Sancho. But I don't know. Emery, the way
Harry Wilson top 4 quality.
Is Sancho top 4 quality?
No, don't think so.
And we're 4. So but we said Lindelof, Man United scrap. Sancho, Man United scrap. Liverpool, Harvey Elliott Liverpool scrap. He doesn't really play for us, but we can get by having players who other teams probably wouldn't sign because of our structure so good. Because the manager we have is one of the best in the world. That's us, and that's okay.
It's almost got very. I mean, obviously we haven't qualified for the Champions League yet, but we all probably feel more positive now about it than we do. We almost kind of suffered for not getting those things right. Do you know what I mean? Like next season, if we don't recruit well, are we going to get by on we managed to finish 4th again, but this player, and this player, they weren't good enough. Like, are you going to get away with carrying that level again? Do you know what I mean? I feel like I made a terrible point there.
No, I absolutely understand what you're saying. Can we
get away with it again? Basically,
I get what you're saying, Dan. But as you know, like, what other option do we have? We're always going to try and push it to what we're capable of doing. We're never going to leave £10 million on the table and not touch it. We'll spend that to improve the team. We're pushing all the boundaries that we can. And sometimes we don't recruit correctly. But I'm just saying that I think we need more quality in that three that supports the striker. You've got McGinn, you've got Rodgers. Tielemans can go there as well. But what happens when you have an injury? You're left with respect, Bailey, Buendia, Sancho. There's not enough goals from them across the course of a season. I think they can all be good squad. Mostly they can be good squad players. But I think you need a bit of dynamite there. I'm talking, Diaby. Something that, but that's what I'm talking about. Real quality. And I think Harry Wilson can provide that. But again, that's a free. You're limited in the free market, aren't you? I mean, there's a number of players there that Julian Brandt, Harry Wilson, Oscar Minguez, Sancho. There's a clutch of players there who are Senesi, who could probably come to Villa and do a good job. But you're also limited there. Is there a player that we can identify that can really come in and be perfect for our mould of team? Let's see. But it's certainly an area that I want to look at. Is Sancho exactly that? I'd hate us to then just bring him in because he's a free and paying big wages, but knowing that we could probably get another player actually that fits us better. We've got to try and recruit better than what we have. And the free market, I think, is definitely something that we'll try and utilise still.
Yeah. I think we probably will have to, Champions League qualification or not. David Rubin, I presume, is listening a little bit behind us. It's 30,000 feet, lads, in capitals, which is
Dan, you idiot.
is an in-joke to the Captain Phillips story. John got recognised on a plane and said, I was flying over Germany. I was 30,000 miles in the air. Where you going, the moon? I'm fully aware it's feet. Right, next question, please. Let's talk Tammy. Chris says, John, any word on how happy Unai is with Tammy Abraham? Hooked on 55 on Thursday and then getting 4 minutes at the weekend. Feels very Marlon all over again.
This happened to Tielemans, didn't it? And this is what we were saying about Marlon before. It's going to go one or two ways. I'd like to think it goes the way that we want and Tammy wants and that the club wants and Emery wants, because he's been chasing him for so long. It would be an awful oversight to sign Tammy Abraham for even just £80 million and then just discard him, having chased him for different summer windows. That wouldn't be a good sign at all. When Emery does identify players himself and does his detailed analysis on them, it works, I think. Rodgers, a key example. When Villa was studying Middlesbrough before the FA Cup game, we buy a player who I don't think many of the Premier League teams would have been interested in. And I'm talking about the worst teams in the league as well. Barkley as well, I actually put in that category. Physically, sometimes that can hold him back. He's had injury problems. But I think, again, on Sunday, really strong performance again. And has, I think, played his part. Good, yeah. And obviously a cheap fee. So, yeah, I'm not massively concerned by this. I think, if anything, we can try and put it the other way of, I think we can see why Ollie Watkins plays, even when he's out of form. The structure is the most important part of this team. And mentioned then about we have players who other teams around us wouldn't sign. They'd let them go, and they do let them go and try and offload them for a fee rather than just a loan. That's what we're kind of working with. And yet we're still above these teams and we want to finish above them coming into this season. The structure is so important. So when a player isn't doing exactly everything that we want them to be doing, as Emery says, if he does their task, i.e. running out of possession and occupying the right spaces for the players to play into, that counts for a lot. And it's not a criticism of Tammy, but it's something that he's just going to have to learn. And I'm sure he will, because he's an intelligent guy, intelligent footballer as well. But he needs a bit of a pre-season, I think. Or maybe in the next weeks, as we've got a lot of time off, Tammy won't be going away with England, that he can work on that. And maybe him and Watkins, they can build some sort of working relationship where, Ollie won't want to lose his place to Tammy at all, but mould his game a bit more to what Watkins is doing. I think that could be really fruitful for us in the final part of the season, because we're going to have to make changes. We spoke about Lindelof not being in the squad. He will play, though. again, and hopefully for him, a lot of appearances in the next few weeks. Even though time's kind of running down on the campaign, we still could play 7 league games plus 5 in the Europa League. That's a large amount of matches to play in the space of 2 months. So they'll all get their opportunities. But I just think with Tammy, from what I've seen, and I think I view it like Emery in the way of it's not quite there yet, and that's okay because he's only just joined. And I guess said before, I think he hit the ground running, really scoring those goals. But just needs a bit more time to get up to speed with what exactly Emery wants of him.
Yeah, and that's natural. James says, do you think that because of Elliott, Marlon and Gesson, even Majo, who we haven't registered yet, will this impact us in future negotiations with players? So I guess in the sense of, would other players look at coming to Villa as am I even going to play? Is that a risk?
I think we mentioned this previously in passing, maybe, or maybe not on a podcast, but on a long voice note, possibly between ourselves. Yeah, maybe, but I think every player, every professional is going to back themselves, and you don't get an opportunity to join a club like Villa that's upperly mobile and also, does pay good wages, by the way. But the most important factor is the manager that we have. If you're not good enough for Unai Emery, you're probably good enough for another manager somewhere else. Like, it's not the end of your career, but this is an opportunity for you to be the best version of that you could possibly be, I think, at this stage in your career, because you're not going to work with a better manager than this man. So I don't think it would impact players wanting to join.
I don't think players would make much decision based off things like that, to be honest.
And and maybe they may think of it. I don't know. The agent may give them kind of a tap on the shoulder and say, "Oh, these are previous examples of Nedeljkovic, Ozcan, a couple more." But at the same time, again, you got to back yourself. And if you get the chance to work under Emery, you take it. And if it don't work, again, you go somewhere else. It's not the end, is it? So,
Richie says in this chat, any word on Tielemans' contract? 2028, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got 2 years left still.
We spoke about this a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
a few months maybe.
The assumption, even since Tielemans joined, was that it would be 2027 that his deal was going to run out. We were told a few months ago that isn't the case, and it would be 2028. So that's good. The only thing I would say in this is, and it's not something that I think you've spoken about it before, but the assumption is that all of a sudden, and I want Tielemans to stay, I want Conte to stay, I keep saying this, but at the same time, the club has to be wary of players having their contract kind of run down a little bit, but also their age obviously going up, as is the case for everyone. But we're at a point now where we do have an ageing squad. I don't see many assets in our team that we can sell beyond next summer, if that makes sense. So let's fast forward 12 months from now. We could be in a situation where Conte is in the final year and a half of his contract, not even year and a half, just nearly the final year. Tielemans nearly the final year. There's another group of players as well. I think McGinn as well in the final year, possibly. Watkins isn't going to be far away as well, probably. And again, there's a lot of players there who are entering the period in which, in a natural cycle, would be, this would be their, no, I don't say peak value, but it would be going down after this. And that's a concern of mine, because I want to keep Conte, I want to keep Tielemans. But I do think the club will have to assess it as well. Because if they do stay and they're given new 5-year deals, great. But then that almost rules them out of a big move, because we're keeping them. And we're not going to be selling them for, huge amounts of money when they turn 30 in 2 years or less. So we have to be, considerate of that as well. But none of that is like a big kind of like a concern for me that the project's going to fall down if we sell some of these players. Not for me. I think that some players are literally irreplaceable, but we have also proven that we can sell a lot of players for big money and be absolutely fine. So yeah, that's just a kind of, again, consideration. But I want those players to stay. The club, however, it's a much harder job. They can't just say, "Oh yeah, keep them." Yeah, ignore offers for them. At some point, we are going to have to raise funds, even if we get in the Champions League. Unfortunately, this is just the, where we are as a club financially.
Yeah, I agree. A question just gone past the chat. Where's that? James, why didn't we play with the energy against West Ham when playing in previous weeks? Is this purely the McGinn effect? We touched on this a little bit in the post-match. And Matt said, you bring back Tielemans, you bring back McGinn, and then all of a sudden we look better. Like, what a surprise, right? Good players have come and helped the team. And I do get that. But my frustration with the weeks before it was that the players that were there weren't doing enough. And some of our best players now are the ones that were still there. And Arna's been playing us for weeks, and all of a sudden he looks good now, and he looked rubbish a few weeks ago. Sancho all of a sudden looks good now, and he was rubbish a few weeks ago. Why weren't they playing good like they are now before? They were the ones still playing, right?
Yeah.
Is it just as simple as those players come back and they make the team better? Or is it a mental thing? How do you see that?
We definitely played better. I would say, and I don't think it's been mentioned, well, I haven't mentioned it yet. I don't know, probably has been said elsewhere. West Ham were going to line up in the back five, right? I think that changed to a 4 just before the game. I think Todibo come out and Potts come in.
Yeah.
Not to kind of take away from us, but I do think we exploited that well. I don't think West Ham were quite prepared to deal with that change, and the way that we took advantage of that is full credit to Villa. The energy we played with is full credit. But we score in the 15th minute, and that's great. I think if we're going into half time without scoring and we'd missed all of those chances, maybe it feels a bit different, and maybe we're starting to rush things and we're starting to force things. But we've had so many weeks of things maybe not quite go our way. And although we haven't played well sometimes, we've seen before, don't play well, but win 1-0. And that's the difference. Like Bournemouth, for example, that would have been a fantastic win had we got it, especially in that part of the season. We didn't, because Dean turned off, and that's that. And your winless run is extended. But the point I'm trying to make is that at some point in the season, or at least in recent weeks, this form was gonna turn. Again, it's big enough sample size to suggest that Villa will at some point put a string of wins together again. I'm hoping that that's now. We've won our last 2 games. I've obviously got a break afterwards. Hopefully we can take enough points, as we explained at the start of the video, to get back in the Champions League. I think we will. But it's such a long season. At some point, you are going to see that switch again from Villa. And I think McGinn is a major part of that. It's come from a set piece. We score the goal, brilliant technique from McGinn. And I think that just allows us to play with a bit more freedom. In the pre-match video, I spoke about how I want Villa Park to be a buoyant Villa Park that isn't nervous. And that, again, should we be drawing the game in the 80th minute, we know that this isn't going to be a do-or-die match that, we've blown it. Opportunity wasted. Liverpool and Chelsea are going to both finish above us. That was never going to be the situation. And that's why I said before the game that I didn't view it as a absolutely must win. It was just a huge opportunity. And I think we all treated it in the right way. The players were up for it because I knew it was a chance to, after so many bad weeks, actually, we can go 6 points clear here. I think the fans, across the stadium, the 89 group and the whole end, I think were brilliant. That boosted the atmosphere. I just think it was a really good afternoon, and it all worked well. And it was all conducive to more energy. And I do put that down to at least some part to McGinn being back. Tielemans being back on the bench is huge. We almost celebrated him warming up like it was a goal by the Trinity and North Stand. I think you might have mentioned that on the post-match. Can't remember now. But yeah, why do we not play that in recent weeks? It's confidence. It's a feeling in the stadium of we're going to be chased, going to be caught here. Liverpool and Chelsea are both going to catch up to us. When's McGinn back? When's Tielemans back? It felt like everything was kind of going against us, and there was no sort of light at the end of the tunnel. But there was always going to be. I think as football fans, we don't want to see it almost.
Yeah.
See the kind of truth of the matter.
I think confidence is really interesting. I'd love to do or read or hear about a study of what confidence in sport and the psychology of it all, because I think it is just a huge thing. I don't know. I think it's easy to overlook it sometimes. When you're in a bad run, you can just say, oh, this player's not good enough and his legs have gone and whatever. And some of that sometimes maybe is true. You mentioned Luca Dean there, switching off for the Bournemouth game. And we're talking about, oh, he's done, Luca Dean. Played really well yesterday. It contributed to us winning a game, a really important game. Other players in the past, you feel the same way, and then they step up. But I just find it really interesting, the psychology of it all, that there must be this thing of, we've scored. Pressure's off, we feel different. That allows me to, my first touch is slightly better. Like it's fascinating, really. I think it is easy to overlook that sometimes. It's just, that player's not very good, and that's that. Ollie Watkins had one of his best games yesterday and scored as well, which is obviously great. his overall play was better. His first touch was then better. His movement was good. Like it just comes from within themselves, which is I do genuinely find it interesting. I was going to make another point then, but I've forgotten. So if you want to reply to that, you can.
No, yeah.
I was going to say.
I just think having McGinn back is huge, and the players have said it all week and the week before that as well. I think it makes a massive impact, and he is a big influence on us. Part of me is almost a bit annoyed that we can't sort of be in that way without him. I just think he is, he's such a key member of the squad that we almost rely on him to be that presence almost. And I'm not talking just about on the pitch what we see. I'm talking on the training ground, in the dressing room. He is the glue. So part of me gets annoyed about that. Like, why can't we just turn this on when he's not there? But equally, him coming back, it just does give us a boost. And if that's what it has to be to get in the Champions League, okay. Because by the way, again, fourth best team since Emery took over 3.5 years ago, whatever it is. There's not much that I can criticise this group of players for being, but we can kind of give some detail somewhere, and that would be one of them. That we seem that without McGinn, we're not quite the same team. But I guess without your captain, without an influential player, Chelsea aren't as good without Reece James. Man United wouldn't be as good without Fernandes, And I'm not saying McGinn is as good as those players, but for us, he is the standard setter. He does, lead by example in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. The comment I was going to reference was earlier on, and I've not been able to find it, but it was something like, I feel like Onana was maybe told to play within himself a little bit because we can't risk you getting injured either. Yeah. Whether they're actually given instructions of, play at 50% today and then we'll probably lose the game because of it. I doubt that, right? But I do kind of get it. Again, maybe a psychological thing. Maybe the players themselves feel that if they're not told it of, well, if I play to my best ability today and put everything out there and then I get injured, we got nothing left. So I've got to kind of hold myself back a little bit. And if 11 players hold themselves back a bit, probably not going to win many games.
No, I think you're right. I thought Onana was excellent yesterday. And I love
every time he plays well, I bet you think,
so
I said he was good.
Oh, not even
I
like
backed
that.
him.
No, I think we all... No, 50 million quid, you're supposed to play well. But I'd hate to play against Onana, man. He's everywhere. He's so hard to...
What a physical mismatch that is.
I'd run between his legs. Why am I laughing about that? But it's... I just watch him and think like, mate, you could be anything. Genuinely, you are unplayable.
That's part of the frustration sometimes.
Yeah, no, it is. But that's not a £50 million player. That's an £80 million player if he plays like that every single week. He is. And when we got Joe Thomas on, the Everton reporter, when we signed him, he said exactly the same thing. Like, the guy could be anything. He really could. He just needs to bring consistency to his game. And I think what he does when he plays well, part of me thinks, like, how can you not do that all the time? Because it's not a thing of bending the ball in the top corner every week, like a Rodgers would try to do. And obviously that's not going to happen every single week. But if it happens enough over the season, then great. But with Onana, it's covering ground. It's using the ball well, but safely too, in the way that we play. Allowing other players like Barkley to be more progressive and be that more kind of creative force. But it's getting stuck in and leaving his long legs on the floor as a barrier to stop plays. It's getting back up and getting the crowd. Like, all of that. I don't know why he can't do that every week. And I know that sounds very basic, but he is that good and he can be that good. So why isn't it every week that he doesn't show that? I don't know. It's confusing me. But he's got it all. And I really want us to unlock him. And there's something there that no other Premier League team, not many teams in Europe have got what we have in Onana, genuinely. He just needs to show it more consistency like he did the other day.
How good could that midfield be? Kamara, Tielemans, and Arnold and McGinn in there.
And
Rodgers.
we've missed, and this is the point when we've missed 3 of them, and we wonder why we've. It is a massive reason as to why McGinn is as influential as we can get as a leader, and all the things that we mentioned. Then Tielemans is probably one of the most creative midfielders in the league. Underrated, I think. Absolutely, I think if he plays in Italy or something where he has a bit more. Or he is against an opposition of players maybe that's less in less quality in the Premier League. I don't know, but I think he could play for most teams in Europe. I think it'd be a great addition for anyone. And and we have those players, Kamara as well. We don't talk about because he's not here at the moment, but we know how good he is. That midfield is mustard, And yeah, again, Barkley has played his part too, I think, this season and in previous campaigns. But yeah, there's so much there that if you can find a bit of consistency, and it's, by the way, that's been a key reason for why we've been so good under Emery. And again, we've lost all three for a period of time when we fell away, and we know why.
Welcome back to Invisible Triggers, who says, I can finally watch a post-match Claret and Blue and enjoy it again. My first for 6 weeks.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. All those episodes we've done over the last 6 weeks and people just aren't watching them. How mad is that? Where were you? Where were you when we were? Oh,
Dan's smiling, but he's genuinely annoyed.
Yeah, like our numbers could have been everything. Wow, analytics could have looked so much better if people tuned in. Even if we're playing poorly, come back, leave a couple of comments, say, oh, not watching this one, but we'll be back soon. Help us the algorithm. It's really, really important. Our views don't
vent your anger,
going up and down like this when Villa don't play well. It's really annoying. Welcome back. If we get a top spot in the top 5 before the last 2 games, as Sean, and we are in the final of the Europa League, would you rest players against Liverpool? Champions League will be done via the league, and then we've got the possibility of winning a trophy and getting it anyway. What do you think?
I'll play.
Would it be resting players, or would you want to build some kind of momentum?
No, because
could you change the 11 twice?
No, because have we not learnt from Kamara? Like, come on, no, change it all. Genuinely, change it all. I'm not risking that whatsoever. It's not as if you're waiting like 2 weeks or something for the game. It would be what
4 days. Well, Liverpool would maybe come forward. Maybe.
Burnley away and then Istanbul away for some players if we get there. But it would be a week.
Burnley, Liverpool.
Yeah.
No?
Sorry, I'm talking about the players who wouldn't play against Liverpool.
Oh, sorry. Yes, yeah.
Burnley away. That's fine. It'd be a week and a bit, so maybe like 10 days. Which, yeah, I don't know. They could come off the bench maybe for 20 minutes at the end. But I'm not risking having our best players or the 11 that Emery wants to play even 60 minutes against Liverpool in a game that means nothing, by the way. If we need to get something, then do it, because I don't want it going down to the final day. Especially Liverpool will be a team that are probably next to us as well.
Imagine losing to Liverpool and then thinking, oh, we'll take it to the final day.
Mate,
and you lose the Europa League final as well. Like,
play Liverpool, McGinn does his hamstring, and we don't win the Europa League. We haven't got top 5. It would be as, maybe not as controversial, but it would certainly be a massive talking point, like O'Neill. Playing the kids against Moscow.
That'd be a massive act of self-sabotage.
Yeah, would it be worse?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Penultimate game of the season, cup final on the actual cup final. That was round of 16 in Moscow. It's still important for the context.
No.
Getting an injury against Liverpool in a meaningless game that now means you'd lose the cup final would be a disaster.
Well, yeah, the only thing I'm saying is because you're playing for momentum, which I disagree with. Don't play him. But then also, like, you can still win without McGinn.
Can you?
I don't know, actually. Good point.
We didn't win many games without him in the last 6 weeks. Yeah.
No.
You'd have to make changes. You'd absolutely have to make changes.
I'd change change the bench.
Just genuinely put the kids in there, yeah.
Let Emery, get acclimatised at the Besiktas Stadium.
Oh, he's not even there either.
Yeah. Sack it off.
Good. Peter says, lovely to see you chaps with smiles as big as mine after this weekend. It was pretty much perfect in every way. Tottenham's imminent demise just makes it all the more sweeter. Enjoy the pods every week. Cheers to you and, of course, Mr. Kendrick.
Just to bring us back down to earth a bit, there will be bumps in the road still, by the way. We're not done.
Of course, yeah.
We if we don't beat Forest, which is doable, we don't beat, like, we've had a lot of negative episodes where we're trying to push back on the whole Villa are done, the project's over sort of talk. I do think we can be quite reactionary as a fan, but maybe as football fans in general, we are reactionary. But I do think as Villa fans, we have a tendency to think that things have now blown up, or that, the club's done. Like, Emery's going to walk out in 30 minutes. Like, gotta, I think, sometimes sort of reflect on where we are. Losing to Man United, the most informed team in the country, is not a disgrace. We're without our best players. McGinn's just started his first game for 6 weeks. We've got to take perspective sometimes. The players do, and Emery does. And I think that's what allows us to get back in form so often. I think that's really important just to kind of mention, because we will have a difficult run again. I say run, hopefully not a run, but a difficult day or whatever in Fulham, and it feels like, oh, we're in trouble here or whatever. Just got to back the team, because firstly, what else can we do? But also the evidence is there that they deserve to be backed by the results we've had in literally a 3-year period, with, again, a group of players who, in the main, a lot of them would get in other teams, but key parts of the squad as well. I don't know. Like, I don't think we are as strong as our rivals, but as a group we are, and there's a fan base involved in that. Villa Park is, the best home stadium to play in when it's good, and we have all of that, in our to our advantage, and we want the same goal as well. So,
yeah. Furious Badger says, if Spurs go down, would they still be in the Big Six? Impossible. You can't call somebody part of the Big Six if they're in the second tier.
Well, the season after they would be, if they get promoted, because the Big Six is just a financial thing. Like, it's not a...
No, but surely...
It never has.
That doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah, I get it. But like the way I view the Big Six, and so the way I view it, the way everyone has to view it, it's simply just the biggest commercial clubs in the country. And if Spurs go back up after getting relegated, they will probably return to that, because they have the TV money then, they have the stadium that brings in so much money. And that's that. But it doesn't mean that they're going to finish above us. We finished above Man United, Spurs in the last 2 or 3 years. United may finish above us again this season. Finally again this season. But, it is what it is. We may finish above Liverpool and Chelsea again. So, yeah, it's simply a commercial metric, and that is it.
Yeah. Do you think they come straight back up? First time we're asking.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And but by the way, that's no celebration. That's
no, well, they should come straight back up.
Yeah, Spurs coming straight back up is hilarious that they've come back up. Where, going down is the point. So they could set records in the Championship. I don't think anyone would care.
Nah.
It's kind of similar to when Blues, I think they broke the League One record or something. I don't know,
Points
but
record.
I hope that's on the Nighthead at standrews.co.uk stadium. That it's the proud record of breaking the 3rd tier points total. I don't know, but it's similar vibes to that. Like, there's no celebration needed here.
Yeah, it's a very Alan Partridge shrug gif, isn't it? All right. You've broken a record that nobody wants. You've broken a record that we can't get even. Do you know what I mean? It's like winning the pizza trophy or whatever that is. Like, we're not even in it. So, well done.
Well, they didn't. But Spurs, just quickly, again, the commercial aspect of a club, unfortunately, it's so sad, but it is the case. Spurs could go down, but in 5 years be like fine again, Whereas we've had to kind of pour, let's say our owners have had to pour in hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds into the club.
And we have. It's in the Bologna tickets.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, it's totally. Yeah, very true. You know what? Scrap that. We funded the
61 quid today, by the way. If anyone wants to get the ticket done.
But seriously, it would be more. They'd be charging more than what they do now had they not pushed money into the club. But we have to say that there's been obviously difficulties that we've had to fund the progression of the club, but the owners have done that themselves. There is no debt, so. Yeah, with Spurs, they can do that. Yeah, with their owners, I don't know if they would, though, because they have the stadium, they got everything going from. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Okie doke. We are going to wrap up there, I think. A couple of little bits to end very quickly. Recruit says, now, lads, I'm driving to Scotland. Mind keeping the podcast going for another 6.5 hours. That was at 10:30. So we've done an hour. Do you want to do another 5.5 hours, John?
I would, but I've got some bits to do. I was going to tell you exactly what I'm doing then, but I thought I'd better
not. True Adventure says, you two could stream all day. I'm chowing down on the content. Delicious. Oh, I like the sound of that. That sounds good. Nice. We've done over an hour, and I didn't think we would, to be honest. I have mentioned a few times, obviously, it's international break, if anyone wasn't sure. We are still here. We are still doing content. I believe we're going into the office, into the studio this week to do some bits and pieces as well. So please do get involved with the mailbag. The next episode that we do will be a mailbag full episode. Try and go into as many different bits and pieces as we can. We'll have a couple of Claret and Brews over the next couple of weeks as well. I think we'll do another Villa Social. And I would like to get a Chelsea and a Liverpool fan on, and possibly Man United, to be honest, to maybe just for like a 5-minute segment to see how they're feeling about their club's chances of top 5. Because I think we're the most positive fan base.
probably go around the corner to find them.
Gaz says, is Dan standing up? Yes, I am. I can move around. You can tell you've not been watching the podcast for the last few weeks. I've been standing up all the time. And very quickly from Cheeky PB, and it's a cheeky one for me. Where does Dan get his AV floodlight top from? So nice. foundersdesign.co.uk. Little plug there for my own thing, but why not? It's been a few weeks, and I think hopefully this week we'll have some new stuff out with the Villa villain as part of it. So keep an eye on our social media for that. John, anything else you want to plug before we go?
No, not really. But just maybe that we're still doing content, even though it's the international break. We'll be having
not as much. Obviously, we're not going to do 5 or 6 episodes a week, but
it's still going to be still going to be enough. Considering the lack of sort of talking points. Well, I don't know. Let's find out.
But to talk about,
yeah. In real life, videos should be back as well. We haven't done them for a while, but we'll be in the office soon. I think me and you'll probably meet up maybe next week as well before the
weather's getting better now. We'll go for a walk down the canal or something and film some bits.
Worse, to be honest. It was great recently.
It was a bit cold this morning, but it's dry at least.
Yeah, it's dry. Yeah, so more in real life, like content coming up for the spring, and then back into the hustle and bustle of the end of the season. What are you laughing at?
So there's not much to talk about. We just did about a minute on the weather and probably about 10 minutes about Tottenham. So we'll fill time, mate. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'm off for a sit down. Thank you very much for watching or listening to this episode of the Claret and Blue podcast. We'll be back later in the week, probably Wednesday and Friday, I think is the schedule. So, come back then if you want more Villa content in your lives. John, thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching or listening, and we'll see you again on Wednesday. Bye-bye.